On this episode of Three Tool Players, All-Star balloting is open and we're ready with our starters in the field and on the mound for the National League. There may be a stuffing of the ballot box in Pittsburgh. Shohei Ohtani is very good at baseball, and we discuss the worst players ever to take the field for the National League. All this and more on this episode of Three Tool Players. Welcome to Three Tool Players. I'm Chris Spear, and alongside me, as always, are the Hammer brothers, Brian and Dan Hammer. Say hello to the internets, fellas.
Hello to the internets, fellas.
Ahoy, ahoy.
The All-Star ballots are out, ladies and gentlemen. You can vote for your All-Star right now, your favorites that will appear in the Midsummer Classic. And we figured we'd throw in our own ballots and give you a feel for what we're thinking. We're going to start with the National League, and we'll start with first base. Dan, who do you like for first base?
You know, I was liking someone for first base, and then after last night, it totally flipped the table for me. And you're going to like my pick. It is the Mets. It's Pete Alonso. I know that we were talking about in our last segment that we were hyping up Freddie Freeman, and Freddie Freeman was going to be my pick to represent the National League for the All-Star game. After what Pete Alonso did to the baseball, he did very bad things to the baseball last night.
It was, yep.
And he just basically announced himself with authority, hitting 2 home runs. And right now he's sitting at 15 home runs with just under 300 batting average. Freddie Freeman batting 363. He's leading the National League for first base for batting average, but just with Pete Alonso mashing yesterday, I just feel like he is the right choice to represent the National League.
Well, even Freddie Freeman had to turn and watch that ball go. Did you see the look on his face? He's like, my goodness, that second home run, which I don't think has landed yet. It's somewhere in Chavez Ravine. It's still going.
Well, even Pete Alonso, he was just standing there just watching it at home plate. He was like, man, I killed that ball. They didn't like that
ball
either.
Hard. Yes. Yeah. Strong man, hit ball hard, ball go far.
Exactly.
So I have a few choices until he got hit in his little elbow. I did like Bryce Harper for a little bit. After our last broadcast with me calling Freddie Freeman a fringe Hall of Famer, I'll give him some love this time too. Nothing against the polar bear except for the fact that he still hasn't written that apology note to our now closer due to injury, Devin Williams, here in the Bronx. But I got to give it to Freddie here. Freddie is been mashing. He's been showing up at the plate. He's got a great average, great presence, still hits for power. I got to go with Freddie at this point.
I'm a homer, so this is simple. It's going to be Pete. I said he'd be in the MVP race, so he's definitely going to be a starter in the All-Star game for the National League at first base. Second base, I'm going to put Brendan Donovan from the St. Louis Cardinals. I'm going to put him here because he deserves to go to the game, and this is probably the best place to put him. He's been a super utility guy for the Cards, splitting time in the infield and in the outfield. He's batting .321, which is third in the National League, with 4 home runs, 24 RBI, and 32 runs scored. And here's a neat little fact I got from MLB.com. Donovan also led the majors in 3-hit games with 10, becoming the first Cardinal to do that in 56 games since Stan Musial did it in 1958. So put this guy into the All-Star game.
I have to agree with you. I also have chosen Brendan Donovan to represent the National League. The only person that is remotely close to him, I would say, is Ketel Marte from the Diamondbacks. But right now, I feel like the nod goes to Brendan Donovan. Bri, what say you?
Second base, Bugs Bunny. Oh, sorry. You know what? You stole my thunder there, Lil Hammer. And I was actually going to go with Kettle One, or Ketel Marte, as they call him.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. It was either Brandon or Ketel. I think it's either or. So
here's why I say Ketel, simply because he's just come back from injury, and you give him enough ABs, he just might catch up. The power numbers are there, and we all know that chicks dig the long ball, so he's who I'm putting in for my scratch.
That guy, he rakes. I mean, the Diamondbacks alone, he is basically the leader on that team.
Third base, Brian, who do you like?
Bugs Bunny.
All right, that joke.
Second base, Bugs Bunny. Third base, Bugs Bunny.
Listen, it's not a question.
Old.
It's old, like 1940s old, but it's still Goldie. Listen, there's a lot to choose from at third base. It's not that I like this guy. I absolutely dread this individual, and Spear knows where I'm going with this.
I know who you're talking about. I have a good feeling.
Yeah, and it's Manny Machado. This is a guy Clearly he has talent. Clearly, you have this just aura about you, but it's also a bad one too. This is a guy that's just temperamental, and I just don't like him for baseball. I just don't.
He took out Dustin Pedroia, ended his
Mhm.
career, if you remember.
I do. And I remember that he played for the Pickles Pub Brigade, and he went on for much higher riches. And here he is in sunny San Diego. Good for
Yeah,
him. He's making
vagina.
his money, and they're competitive year over year. But he's also a guy I'm not going to root for. Unfortunately, his numbers are there. And as much as I would want somebody like a Max Muncy or, a Chapman in that place, Matt Chapman, he's going to slide in with the popular vote as well. So it's going to be Machado.
Yeah, I have two things to add here. Number one is I don't know how we haven't called Pickles Pub yet. I don't know what we're doing. I feel like we have mentioned Pickles Pub from the Baltimore, Maryland area. Like, I don't know how many times over the course of the last few episodes. How we haven't called him yet is beyond my comprehension. But the other thing I'll say is I don't like him much either, but he's leading all third basemen in average at 314, hits at 70, OPS at 864, and doubles at 17. And he also leads the Padres in all of those categories. For that, he gets my vote at third base.
I was trying to justify putting Austin Riley there because he's at least somewhat close to those numbers, but taking a look at like everything all together, it's Manny Machado right now.
Shortstop, Dan.
Oh, I think the Phillies brass is going to hate me for this choice. I went with Francisco. It's just fun to say the word Francisco. Francisco Lindor. I have chosen him to represent the National League at shortstop.
So anything to be said about his recent injury? Because he's going to
Right
be
now,
out for.
He's day to day.
he's day to day. He what was it? A fractured toe.
Yeah, his pinky toe. He's out day to day. He was out of the lineup today, but he's not planning on going on to the IL. So he should be in the lineup unless he gets back into it and he can't run on it and they
Yeah.
have to take him out for a bit. But right now he's day to day. I wouldn't see any impact for it.
I mean, listen, pinky toe or no pinky toe, you still got to be able to run. You still got to be able to balance. And that may hurt his production for a little bit. Yes, he's head and shoulders above all the other choices in terms of power numbers. But I have to be honest, I am a little excited about Trey Turner's renaissance and return to form. So
Yeah, right now
Danny,
it's
if you're not going to pick up the gauntlet for this gentleman, I will. So my choice is Trey Turner.
like I said, I was going to choose Trey Turner, but right now Trey Turner's power numbers, exactly what you just said, power numbers are not there right now. That's the reason why Francisco Lindor got the nod instead of Trey Turner.
Yeah, Frankie Lindor's got a weird record. The Mets have won 28 straight games in which he has hit a home run.
Mm-hmm.
He's the engine that makes the Mets go, and the Mets are going really well. Fun fact, Lindor has never started an All-Star game before. So it says
Oh.
here that he does this year. All right, there's 3 outfielders you can vote for on the ballot.
It was really tough for the National League. The American League, I felt like was pretty easy, but the National League was extremely tough. I actually had to take into consideration like stolen bases and whatnot, but average, OPS, runs and RBIs and home runs, taking all of that into consideration. And you guys want me to give my list right now?
Yeah,
No,
go
we want
for
you to
it.
be quiet about it. Be completely silent
Yeah.
about it so we can go on with our merry way. Yes,
That's
tell
what's
us.
good. That's what's good for a podcast is to just
All
sit
right.
there on mute. That's
Yeah,
what's good.
Keep it to
all
yourself.
That's right.
Okay, I'm just not gonna tell you. Yeah, I picked these guys, and I'm not gonna tell you. Kick rocks. PCA, my first pick. All right.
Mhm.
James Wood is my second choice. My last pick is Kyle Tucker. So I do have 2 Cubs in my outfield.
Brian, who do you got?
I agree with Dan. There's a few fun folks in there. PCA is kind of hard to ignore at this point because he has great statistics, power, speed in terms of stolen bases, but he also has a hell of a glove in that outfield. So he's going to be my first choice. But I think there's going to be a couple other contenders that we really should not ignore. And I don't think they're going to get in specifically for their statistics, but I think they're going to get in for just their overall name recognition and popularity with the voters, the fans, as well as maybe a little bit of goodwill from the previous year. So I have a couple of folks here. Ronald Acuna Jr., even though he is just coming back from injury, but the fans may overwhelmingly surprise us. So I think he's going to be a dark horse. And Spear, I'm going to throw some love your way. I'm going to send it over to the ex-Yankee, Juan Soto. It's been an ugly start of the season, but there are flashes of him turning around. I feel that he's going to garner enough votes to get a starting position.
You're going with the popular vote, huh? You're going with the previous year contenders.
He's for
Well,
the
that's
people.
for the
I am for the
people.
people.
Well, you know what? They do that. I mean, like if you ever gone to like a stadium and you had to punch the holes, everyone picked the people that were the most popular. So yeah, I agree
Yeah,
with you, Fry.
you look around, listen, you have people that are, bringing their dates for the first time to a ball field and they've never seen a live game and they get this little ballot to punch through and they're like, oh, I see a bunch of people wearing these jerseys. I guess I'll put that guy's name in. Right. So, hey, there it is.
Yep. So you're thinking there's some goodwill for Acuna Jr., even though he hasn't played for the large majority of the season thus far.
Either goodwill or just overall popularity.
All right.
All right.
All
Fair
right.
enough. So I likewise have PCA. And what else can you say about PCA that we didn't say in our last episode? Elite defense on the field, speed on the bases, power at the plate, and a National League leading WAR of 3.7. He's going. I also have James Wood. Wood is hitting the ball hard in his first full season at 22 years old. And you got to remember that.
Yep.
Young ball player. He has a 2.8 WAR and he's among the league leaders in hard hit rate. He leads all National League outfielders in OPS and is second in home runs, slugging percentage, and RBIs. He's a rising star for the Nationals, and he's one of those guys that I think Major League Baseball is going to want to showcase, and he should be in the game. My third outfielder is going to be Corbin Carroll. Corbin Carroll leads all National League outfielders with 18 home runs and triples with 6. And he's really kind of picked up where he left off last season. And he's a bright spot in a relatively dark season for the D-backs. So I think he makes the lineup for the National League All-Stars. I think we're all going to have the same answer for DH. I mean, if any of us have a different answer, I'm going to be really surprised. But my choice for DH for the National League is Shohei Ohtani. Shohei Ohtani is very good at baseball. I mean,
Yeah, there's no denying it. It's Shohei. Move forward.
I wish I had a joke here. I absolutely don't. It's Shohei. I've been Shohei happy and pro Shohei since our very first podcast. So everything he's done up to this point in the season, he's not let any of us down. So Shohei, hands down.
I mean, it really is ridiculous. I mean, he has to be celebrated. I mean, I know it's like easy to dismiss his greatness at this point, but he has to be celebrated for what he's doing and what he continues to do. I hate to say this for all of the fans in Anaheim, but it's a much better thing that he's playing on the Dodgers because he's showcased. You know what I mean? Like he's just his mythical figure has done nothing but grow since he's joined the Dodgers, and he's out of the relative obscurity of playing in Anaheim. Celebrate the man. He's doing amazing, amazing things.
There's other decent picks too. I mean, right now, Kyle Schwarber is raking too, but he is nowhere near Shohei Ohtani.
I mean, listen, in 10, 20 years, when we all find out that Shohei Ohtani is actually a Martian, it'll all make sense.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, there's no other explanation to be this good.
Yes, he's an alien or a cyborg or something. Like he's got like some Terminator thing going on. Whatever.
He was sent. Yeah, that's right. He
was
is
sent from the future.
He was sent from the future. He's a home run mashing, base stealing, strikeout machine.
Strikeout machine. Right.
That's right. Dun 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 dun.
Oh my God. All right. Catcher.
I don't have a strong feeling for the catchers here, but if I'm going to go statistics, I got to go Will Smith out of LA land there. This guy who's got over a 320 batting average, 5 home runs, OPS, a little over 9. And the fact that he's juggling just an elite pitching rotation and relieving core, you kind of just got to give it to this guy. So otherwise, if you go around the rest of, some of these choices here, like Carson Kelly and Drake Baldwin, Ivan Herrera, it's you choose either or, but Will Smith is basically going to be your best bet.
See, I also picked Will Smith, but I was undecided because there is a shining light in a very dim stadium, and that's Hunter Goodman. Now, if you take a look at Hunter Goodman's average, his home runs, his OPS, I mean, the dude is raking on a team that is just not good. He's the only one that's really producing out of the Colorado Rockies. So if I had to choose, I would choose Hunter Goodman over Will Smith. But right now, Will Smith has a nod with, having a 327 batting average, a 928 OPS, and 5 home runs. But it's either or. It's hit or miss. It's either Hunter Goodman or Will Smith.
I chose Hunter Goodman as well. I mean,
There you go.
how much fun did Hunter Goodman have in Miami? He went 7 for 13 with 3 home runs, a triple, and 2 doubles to help the Rockies sweep the Marlins.
That's right.
God. I mean, why ruin our fun? I mean, we're all happy to watch Colorado just wade in absolute basura. And
Hunter Goodman said no. He said
That's right.
no to that.
That's right. And if you go back to our earlier broadcast, I said that guy is just like John Goodman, like James B. Sullivan, right? He's going to turn it all around. And look what he's doing. He helped sweep the lowly Marlins. And there goes our punchline for a team that we were hoping to have the worst record ever.
Well, I don't think they're completely out of the woods yet. They still have a ways to go, but at least they got on the winning side of something. They had lost every series they've played up to that moment, which is crazy to think.
Yep.
But Hunter Goodman may be the best player on a bad team. So it says here that he's deserving of a trip to the All-Star game.
Agreed.
He's the Dale Murphy of that team, right? We go back to the old Braves in the 80s. It's like, yeah, you're an absolutely huge fish in a terribly small pond, sir. And that is your Hunter Goodman at this moment. Plus, very cool name.
All right, starting pitcher, Dan. Who do you like?
There's a couple that I was looking at, but the thing is, you can choose. I'm going to go with person that is the most dominant and the person that has the name, and that's Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens has a 2.05 ERA. Batting average against him is a staggering 181. His walks to hits per innings is under 1. It's a 0.88. And right now, I mean, he's not leading the league with strikeouts, but he's up there with 85.
Brian, who do you like?
I don't like anybody in the National League, to be honest.
They don't like you either.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't like you either. You better watch it. I'm wanted in 12 systems.
Listen, yeah, Skeens is amazing. I mean, there's no denying that. The idea of having such a low whip at 0.88, and yes, he's got a losing record, but yes, he's on a crap team that gives him no run support.
Well, you saw he pitched 8 innings. Actually, he pitched a complete game in Philly against Mick Abel, who came up from AAA, and the game was 1-0. Mick Abel shut out the Pittsburgh Pirates, and Paul Skeens couldn't get any run support.
So I changed my answer. I want Mick Abel to represent the National League.
Well, you better go get him at Lehigh Valley. So
that's what I mean. We got to call him up.
You're gonna call him up. Hey, Mick Abel, just jump in my Mustang. Let's go.
You know what? In all fairness, I actually do have a little bit of love for the Phillies here. I absolutely do. And I was going to be a total joker and say, Aaron Nola just to piss Dan off, but I'll be nice right now. And as much as it pains me to say this, because Spear knows the history I have with this guy in my PlayStation, was it MLB The Show, and that's Zach Wheeler. Zach Wheeler always let me down in that video game franchise. But you can't deny the fact that the guy's got a sub-3 ERA, sub-1 WHIP, 6-2. He's a gamer, and he's exciting to watch. And I wouldn't have an issue if he was chosen over Paul Skeens. So that's my pick, Dan. I'm going to give you a little bit of love in Philadelphia.
Hey, I have no problem with that. I have no qualms with the pick of Zach Wheeler.
Wheels is a great pick. You could take a look at Kodai Senga, who's pitched out of his mind. But the pick here is Paul Skeens. Skeens is a star. And Major League Baseball will stuff the ballot box to get him to start this game. They're going to want to showcase this kid. I mean, when you have reporters like your favorite guy, Jeff Passan, when you have reporters going on and on about how Skeens should be traded from the Pirates because the Pirates are just a terrible team and franchise, that's how you know this guy is good, and you want him out of the doldrums of Pittsburgh, and you want him on the biggest stage. You want him, like Ohtani, to play for a team that's going to showcase his talent and his dominance. Getting him out of Pittsburgh isn't likely to happen, so making sure that he's a starter at the All-Star game is the most likely thing to happen there. Paul Skeens is the starter for the National League All-Stars. All right, how about a closing pitcher, Bri? Who do you like?
I don't like anybody. Dan?
There's only one choice for this, and that one choice is Robert Suarez from the St. Diego Padres.
Yeah, he's
Dude is
quality.
absolutely raking. I mean, he has 19 saves. He has a sub 2 ERA. He's at 1.98. His batting average against him is 143, and he currently has 29 strikeouts. His walks to hits per inning, 0.77. So this guy, you saw in the beginning of the season, he was just unhittable for like the first I would say like 5 or 6 games. This guy is an absolute monster for San Diego.
Got a reaction to that, Brian, before I go?
You thought I
Listen,
was gonna choose Jordan Romano, huh?
That's what I was going to ask
no,
you. No,
Uh,
no,
no, I
no
don't think you were
Jordan
gonna.
Romano.
I don't
no
think he was
Jordan
gonna.
Romano,
I don't think he was gonna say
unfortunately.
Jordan Romano. I don't think he was gonna choose the guy that got nailed for the diet pills before prom season, because that could have been his choice. But yeah, the pick out of San Diego is clutch. We faced him as a Yankee squad, and he was absolute lights out. He's the real absolute McCoy. So I'll support Dan's choice here.
I'm going to make another homer pick, and I'm going to pick Edwin Diaz.
I knew you were. I knew you were.
I have to. I mean, Diaz blew his first save against the Dodgers the other night, but it took him until June to do so. Diaz still makes Met fans crazy, but for me, he's the best closer in the National League right now. I think he should get the nod. I hear what you're saying about our friend out there in San Diego, but I'm going to take the homer pick there, and I'm choosing Edwin Diaz. So let's see. We matched up on quite a few. We matched up on
PCA.
Alonso.
I think
Yeah,
PCA. We all matched up on PCA.
we all matched up on PCA. You and I matched up on Alonso, Donovan. Brian and I matched up on Machado. Dan and I matched up on Lindor. PCA Wood. We all.
I
Dan.
matched up on Machado as well. Yeah,
Oh,
I
did you?
picked
All right.
Machado.
So,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right. So we actually. I'm a little surprised here, but I think the really only the variation we had was in the outfield,
Mm-hmm.
where Brian is a man of the people. Brian's going with the popular vote. And I don't understand that as a Yankee fan because that never happens. Yankee fans are not of the people, for the people,
Listen,
and by the people. You are for the Yankee fans and only Yankee fans. So I think that's a good job by you. Maybe that's a step in the right direction.
are you saying that I'm maturing, or are you saying that maybe there's an ulterior motive that I have here?
I'm saying you may be drunk. I don't know. I mean, it could be
No,
anything.
no.
Could be
Listen to me.
anything.
Listen, I'm like a blooming onion. I got lots of layers, and the layer is this, and it's nefarious. That is, I'm going to recognize talent. I'm going to recognize talent. I will speak to talent, and then I will poach the talent at the trade deadline.
Oh, I see.
You see where I'm going with that? Uh-huh. They will all become Yankees. Yes, we are of the people because the people will become us. Come,
And
drink
then,
our Kool-Aid.
Soylent
you,
Green is people.
and then you'll send them away, and then they'll go into like a spiral taking PEDs.
Hey, listen, it's a great time when you join the roller coaster that is the New York Yankees. It's the apex of your career. I'm just going to level with you.
Oh
And
my good
the second
God.
you leave our hallowed halls is the second that you yearn to come back. And yes, you will unfortunately try to stick needles in your butt.
Mm.
Oh,
Spear, you wanted to go down this path. You wanted to go down this roadway.
Did
right?
I? Did I?
You did.
Did I?
You asked. You
I
asked.
was trying. I was
You were
trying
trying.
to.
You were trying to bring me back from the dark side. Listen, we got cookies over here at the Evil Empire. All right.
You're
So
horrible.
there's no
Take a-
saving me. I am who you made.
Oh, good God.
you did not kill Anakin. I did.
So, who do you guys think was the worst election to the All-Star game for the National League?
Well, I have one, and I actually experienced it myself going to this game. It was in 2008. It was at Yankee Stadium. And my choice. And
How
my
did you get
choice-
those tickets, Daniel? Gee, I wonder.
Oh no, I had a big brother that used to have the Saturday package, and he let me tag along to that All-Star game, which I am extremely appreciative. When I was at
You
that
are
game,
welcome.
I was not appreciative because
Why were you not appreciative?
it was a 14 inning game, and it was for one person and one person alone to make this game go 14 innings. And that person was a second baseman, and his name was Dan Ugla.
Danny
And
Ugla.
Ugla.
Dan Ugla. So they were all out of guys by that point. So, the eighth, ninth inning, they let the reserves in and whatnot. So Dan Ugla is in. That dude had 3 errors in that game, and I think he also struck out 3 times. It was the worst performance I've ever seen for an all-star person. And hands down, even like, we're going to do American and National League. This is hands down, like by far the worst. Dan Uggla was, a decent player when like in his career, but by far that night was just not his night.
Was Ugla there with the Marlins? Is that why he was there?
I'm 99% sure it was with the Marlins.
Yeah, pretty sure it was the Marlins.
2008, you are correct. Florida Marlins.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a deep cut. Dan Ugla. Good Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Ugly that night.
Yeah.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
I see what you did.
And
Knee
there was
slapper.
nothing.
Oof.
There was
Nothing.
nothing
I
pretty.
did nothing. Zero.
There was nothing pretty about that comment,
yeah.
just like there was nothing pretty about that evening with Danny
For
Ugla.
Dan Ugla. Yeah.
I mean, listen, we had a blast that night. I mean, I think it's still on record the longest All-Star game in history, and it was the last in the old stadium. So there was a lot of just pomp and circumstance to that evening. So yeah, he was pretty bad. I have to go in a different direction, and this is going in the way back machine. I did a little research on this. There's a guy who was Captain America, but not the Steve Rogers that we all came to love in the Marvel universe. No, actual Steve Rogers was starting pitcher for the Montreal Expos. He managed to make the Midsummer Classic in a year which he lost, get this, 22 games, right? So here's what happens when you happen to be just the arm, the workhorse for a ball club, and you pitch over 250 innings, you have 38 starts, but you have a +4 ERA, and you're responsible for 22 out of the team's total 82 losses that year. He had to be on the roster for the All-Star game because they had to send somebody. And this is a guy who, before the All-Star break, had a 10-11 record with a 4.63 ERA. So he is my choice for largest stinker to head off to the All-Star game. Who's your Spear? Who was your clunker for the All-Star?
I really don't have one. If you do the research on this, it feels like the one name that keeps coming up is a guy by the name of Frankie Zach, who I've never heard of before. But in 1944, he did nothing but pinch run and play a few innings as a late inning defensive replacement. And then when he got put in the lineup in June, he went on a tear for the Pirates. Mm-hmm. He ended up getting elected to the All-Star game. Actually, he didn't get elected. The National League manager, Billy Southworth, selected him to be in the 1944 All-Star game for the National League. He never played, and he probably didn't play at all after the All-Star game, but he was an All-Star. And the fun fact here is he only had 208 major league at-bats. But Frankie Zach was an All-Star.
You know who this sounds like? Roy Hobbs. You just gave us the natural, sir.
Yeah,
you absolutely did. He only had 200 some at-bats. Didn't see a lot of playing time. Probably got injured. Kim Basinger or Bassinger, however the hell you say her name, brought him into a huge slump after the All-Star break. But he caught lightning in a bottle in that June.
Yep.
He caught a lot of attention. So Good for you, Roy Hobbs.
Yeah. I mean, look, Kim Basinger can put me into a slump anytime she wants. I'm all for it.
God, yeah.
Yep.
Well, there you go. There are our picks for National League All-Stars, and we seem to agree on quite a bit. So I'm surprised, but I guess I shouldn't be, because those might be the right guys. Those are the right guys to start for the National League. Time will tell. Ballots are open. Put your votes in, and you can check out every episode of the Three Tool Players podcast on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on the YouTubes, or wherever you get your podcasts. And you could follow us on TikTok at 3toolplayers and on x.com at 3toolpod. For Brian and Dan Hammer, I'm Chris Spear, and we thank you for listening to this episode of 3 Tool Players.